guys, welcome back. Been a couple weeks, I think, since I put up a video, so wanted to do one. You can tell I'm in the kitchen. That's probably going to mean trouble, but today I'm going to show you how I cook my deer backstrap. All kinds of ways to cook it, I'm sure. We're going to fry it. I'm going to season it up, but I'm going to show you the process of how I go through it. And you know, I guess if there's some tree hugging PETA vegetarian that stumbled on my channel, hey, sorry. I guess just keep scrolling. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I do it. By no means am I an expert. It's just the way I enjoy it. So let's take a look at it here. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, or that I do, is I take that backstrap, and this was one solid piece that I've cut in half. But what you want to do, there's a membrane on it, on the back of it. You want to get all of that off, or as much as you can. And there's also a you'll see it. I think we've always called it silver skin. It's a real slimy kind of paper thin, clear membrane part, I guess. But anyway, you want to get all that off because that's the tough part. And then you want to take this, and you can see that's a good lean cut of meat there, really good. And I'm going to take and I'm going to slice it up into thin pieces, and then we're going to put the old meat tenderizer hammer to it and get it ready for a good soaking. So let me get to cutting it up right quick. Okay, now what I like to do to begin with, I just want to cut it in thin pieces, probably about like that, all the way down. Just little thin pieces, because when I hammer it out and tenderize it, it's going to be even bigger. But that's all we're going to do. And you can see there's just no fat on that at all. That is so good, so good. Okay, so now we've got it cut up. You can see the different sizes there. Again, it's real thin. Going to take the tenderizing mallet here, and I'm just going to tap it down just a bit. Nothing outrageous. Not that that's loud for you, is it? Just enough to break it down a little bit. And I'm not going to sit here and make you listen to all of this as I hammer them all out. That'll drive you crazy. Yep. The main point I wanted to show you on this is you see how much thinner it gets compared to, let's say, that. I mean, it just really breaks it down, and that's gonna really tenderize it. That just makes it incredible. So let me finish tenderizing these, and I'll show you the next step. Okay. Hopefully you can see that after it's been hammered out real thin. That's going to make it so tender. And it's just, if you've never had it, you have no idea what you're missing. It's good clean meat, good lean meat. And now my next step, what I'm going to do with it is we're going to put it all in a Ziploc, or Walmart's version of it, I guess. Just drop it all in there. And I usually do about 20 pieces of this, 20 to 22, something like that, mainly because it's just me. But you take that And then you can use milk, you can use buttermilk, you can use whipping cream, any of the above, because you wanna break it down, tenderize it more, and the milk, the enzymes and everything will break that toughness down, and it'll also get rid of some of the wild gamey taste if that bothers people. But we're going to pour some of this in. You just want to cover it. That was some whipping cream I had left over from something else I had done. And this is a little half and half. I'm going to put some of that in it to be sure I get it all covered good. Usually it'll take about a half a quart, somewhere in there, depending on obviously how much meat I've got in there. Let's get the air out of it a bit. And then we're just going to mix it around, get it all good and covered. And we're going to let this set in the refrigerator at least 2 to 3 hours. You can let it set overnight. A lot of people prefer that. But we're gonna just let it soak like that for the next couple 2 or 3 hours, and then through the magic of editing, I'll be right back with you. All right, guys. Been 3 hours. Editing is an amazing thing, huh? So I took the backstrap out of the refrigerator, drained the milk, patted it dry with paper towels. That's what it looks like now. And we're about to go ahead and mix up our flour with all the seasonings and show you how I do that. Okay, the first thing I did, took about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Gonna put in my seasonings here. Onion powder. And, you know, it's, I'm probably, if I had to guess, I'm going to say I used maybe not quite a tablespoon or right at a tablespoon. Just something to give it some good seasoning. I also use garlic powder. Same thing. Just a little, you know, add it in there. And again, I do a lot of this just by sight and feel. That might get me in trouble. A little salt. Got to have a little salt. You can salt it afterwards when you get through as well. And then some pepper. And then I don't know if this is available where you are or not, slap your mama seasoning. I put that actually on my fish as well. But I've added some of that into it. Again, just kind of by my feel. I don't know how to tell you. That was definitely more than a tablespoon. And then here's another one that's local for us, backyard seasoning. And I use that on a lot of my chicken and my tenderloins that I do. So we're going to add some of that. And you can season it with whatever you want, obviously. All right. I'm just going to mix all that up a little bit. I'll blend it together and try not to sneeze. I know that would be good on camera, wouldn't it? Okay. We've got that mixed up. I've also taken some eggs. I've got probably 3 or 4 eggs here. Again, it depends on, you know, how much. I'd rather have more than not enough because I don't want to stop once I get going here. But I'm going to take and dip this into the egg, into the flour mixture with all my seasonings. And I'm only going to do enough that I'm going to put in the skillet over here. I've got an electric skillet going, and I've got my peanut oil. You can use whatever oil is your preference. Peanut oil is mine. because of the higher smoke point. But I only want to do enough so that it doesn't get soggy while I'm cooking. I don't want to mix all of it. I'll come back and I'll mix another batch. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's get kind of nasty here because it's gonna be sloppy. We'll do about, I don't know, let's do 7 to begin with. Get that egg mixture good and wet, and we'll just drop it in the flour. Kind of cover it as best we can. I'm just going to lay it right there. Just like that. You can see it's kind of nasty. Be sure you have plenty of paper towels. But it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Okay, wipe this off my hands and we'll get to cooking. Now all I'm going to do is just drop these in, cook them. I'm going to cook them about 4 minutes, and we'll check them. Yeah. We're gonna turn them a time or two throughout the process. Grease is again is set at 350. We just want a good golden brown crust on them a little bit here. Again, just turning them every minute or two. That's just me, probably being impatient, but again, I try to cook them about 4 minutes roughly. Because they're thin, it cooks pretty quick. I believe that's about got this batch. Turn it one more time. And then we'll just drain them over here on this paper towel. And let's check the internal temperature real quick. That's 199. You don't need it quite that. 198, 200. So these are done. You just really want to get them at least a minimum of 160. So that's the first batch. You see that? I hope. Those are so good. Now let's go ahead and let's batter up the others and do another batch. Okay, batch number 2. And again, I suppose if you were quick, you could go ahead and batter them all up at once and fry them in multiple batches. I just found that they get a little soggy. Go ahead and flip these over for the first time. Okay, batch number 2 is down. Last one, small batch. Okay, batch number 3, last one. Okay, guys, here's your finished product. I promise you that it's really, really some good stuff. You can't beat it. Anyway, that's my version. Hope you like that. I'll catch y'all later.